Yes.
You're live.
Yeah, they're supposed to listen to me, not see me.
Will be following you. Every single jump, every trophy won, every wicket you break, every breakaway, every cross, every dribble, every dunk, every pit stop, every loss, every victory, every single sport. We will be watching you.
Welcome
Studio.
inside the locker room.
Welcome to Sports News inside of the locker room, and this is Smooth 98.1 FM Lagos. It's part of the Smooth Breakfast with Valentine and Tega Supreme. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning.
Tega, if you're watching us on YouTube at youtube.com/smooth91fm, you see that Tega is not ready to get up today, but she's up, alas.
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning. You can pull the mic to yourself now. So, Lagos, to have this conversation with us about sports inside of the locker room is going to be interesting, I promise you that. Send a message to WhatsApp. It's 0809 444 981. That's 0809 444 0981. Also on Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981 to share your stories and your comments and observations as well, especially regarding yesterday's final. Now, let's start from home. Talking about Asaba 2008 AAC. Nigeria and foreign athletes who will participate in the Africa Tour, a one-day event meant to test on the facilities at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State, have been trooping in to compete and be the first team, which will play host to top African athletes to vie for honors at the 21st African Athletics Champions Statements.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not done. Oluka for the local organizing committee said some of the athletes are already in town and others we're expecting today. Now the event will go on as scheduled and we're looking forward to seeing a good outing at the brand new stadium.
Yes, and that's what it is. I think it's fantastic. I also like the trial. What happens is ultimately athletes are going to come, they're going to perform and then put us under pressure. I don't know what to expect of us again, considering the postponement of the finals. I know our stadiums are ready, I know Asaba is ready, and the state government has been doing everything to get things in place for Asaba. The most important part of it that is missing for me is what our athletes would do.
Yeah.
And the interest other countries have shown to come here and perform and give their best, it's just putting me under more pressure as Nigerian to go and support my athletes. But let's see how first of all, let's just host a good event, and it's already looking that way. So far so good.
But for our athletes, have they been paid? Have they been taken care of? The welfare packages
they're still fighting well.
Oh wow. So somebody on YouTube, Tosin Iroja, is asking you, Tega, why are you trying? Because you find us there. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now, the next news: fraudsters have tricked scores of Nigerians by selling Football World Cup 2018 fan passes to travel to Russia, leaving many stranded and penniless. Now, victims and trafficking campaigners have revealed this. It says some Nigerians told some reporters that they used the official fan IDs to come to Russia with the promise of finding work or even playing professional football themselves. Rolling eyes. Moving on, Ismail Olamilekon, who's 21, and his brother Sadiq, who's 25, said that they paid, wait for it, 250,000 naira each to a man in Lagos for their fan IDs. They said, the man told us that with the fan ID we could get a job and stay here, Ismail told reporters. But when we got here, we discovered that it was a fraud, that he just collected the money and lied to us.
That's another thing where education is key. And education doesn't necessarily mean going to school. So what Russia did with the World Cup is if you had tickets or passes to go and see the live game, it was automatically your visa to go to Russia.
So once you buy the ticket,
they're not going to see the World Cup. That's what you're supposed to do. Some people try to use that to get a stay in Russia as an immigrant. They did not know life was going to be hard. Wow. So it genuinely didn't even know. They just thought like that was a visa. Well, people like Ismaili, and so they get there and expect to get work with visa. They're like, no, you came to watch football.
Yeah. Walk up as finished, so bye.
It's two different things. You didn't come here to stay.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. But I think Nigerians, we need to stop disgracing ourselves. So truth be told, we need to stop disgracing ourselves. If you want to move to another country, there are legal processes.
Yep.
Follow those legal processes and then go. Otherwise, just stay in your country and
stop
tough it
embarrassing
out.
us, please.
Because going to lie down in front of the embassy, and then the Lagos state government had to say we're going to pay for their flight back. It was just the ugliest thing to see.
Anyway, talking tennis now in Wimbledon, most of you, how many people saw the match between Serena and her friend? Anyway, so Serena Williams says that finishing as runner-up at the Wimbledon finals 10 months after having her first child was just the beginning, in her words. It was a great opportunity for me. I did not know a couple of months ago where I was or where I would be or how I would do, how I would be able to come back. It was such a long way to see light at the end of the road. So I think these 2 weeks have really showed me that I can come out and be a contender to win Grand Slams. It's literally just the beginning, she said.
Yeah, always a contender. First of all, I have to say, yes, she's been out a while, but I've seen Serena come back from crazy things. I've seen her when she came back from that blood clot issue that it traveled to her lungs and she couldn't breathe. That was scary. That was 2014 World Cup. I've seen her come back from knee injury, back injury, and just go on to win. And here's what I think: she could have won this one. I'm not saying Angelique Kerber. Kudos to Angelique Kerber. She was on point. She was firm. She was consistent, but most importantly, she kept her cool. And that's what helped her.
But could it be because she knows Serena on a one-on-one
basis?
No.
Serena has beaten her before, so it's not. It has nothing. So yes, she's beaten Serena, but Serena revenge and beat her for good measure. Yes. So that was done. But I think what it was for Serena is that she saw Angelique Kerber is a power hitter, and she came out in the game, and her very first game, she was broken by that power. Serena decided to go for it. So she was aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with aggression, but she was pushing herself a bit too much. So she was overheating hand strokes, and she was second guessing herself. So a shot that she would just on a normal day slice, because it was Angelique Kerber, she hit it. You understand? So she'd either be reaching over the court, or she'll be putting it in position where Angelique Kerber can run up to meet it. So there were a lot of things Serena did on Saturday that it was rare to see, and you could tell that this was pressure from the person she was playing against, but also from what she had put on herself coming into this match. However, it was a good one for her, and congratulations to Kerber. She did a fantastic job. Like I said, she kept it clean. By the time Serena had like 20 false errors, she had only 4. She kept it clean. She kept it focused. Even when she was frustrated and Serena got 1 or 2 looks into herself, she still held her nerve and went on to win.
Although a few observers were asking, well, after the match, why Serena could have just rested. Just 10 months after having a child, why couldn't you have rested a little bit to get your energy back?
Energy levels are fine.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with her. She's okay. Yeah. She just had a baby.
All right. I can read. Good morning, guys. My heart goes out to Croatian team and people, except for Mr. Dejan Lovren, who single-handedly carried both his club and country to the final to lose. And we finally saw a shaku move. Moving on to the next one here, we have from Victor from Moscow. He's sending a message this morning. Thank you, Victor. It says, too bad the way Serena Williams decided to disappoint most of our supporters like Tega, because she could not take her dinner because of that defeat on today. Tega, is that true?
I don't know what he's talking about.
It just sounds like you both live together.
You'll be shocked how well I ate.
We'll come back to take more of your messages here on WhatsApp. Is 0809 440 981. You're listening to Smooth Breakfast, and this time we're talking about sports inside of the locker room. Keep it here.
A blend of
I will not eat because Serena lost. It was my business, Serena.
Your radio. Oh, yeah. Smooth 98.1.
Oh, yeah.
What is that dream of yours. A vacation, further education, a business perhaps. Get started with Nescafe. Stand a chance to win 1 million naira and other cash prizes when you buy a Nescafe 3-in-1 pouch. Winning is an easy 3-in-1 step. 1. Go to your neighborhood supermarket. 2. Buy a pouch of 10 Nescafe 1 sachets and get an extra sachet free. 3.
Marrying 2 women, making all the money from football, and then beating Drum at the World Cup. Like everybody else is hustling to play. He's like, I don't need this. Why is this girl's little dress? I was wondering why she was so flighty yesterday. She's more flighty this morning.
He's going to see someone called Paige from his office. Paige is Paige Financial. Paige Financial? Of course.
She's so flighty. What is this? My friend, go before Bruce blow you.
And the best part is he doesn't need any collateral or a guarantor to get a loan from Paige Financial. Okay. Yeah, you see, if you need to buy a car, pay children's school fees, or go on holiday, Paige Financials will give you a loan in just 3 hours.
Wow, I need to get familiar with Paige.
Exactly. Visit their website, www.pagefinancials.com, or call them at 01631-PAGE.
Thanks, but you men still need to be monitored.
Okay, well, you monitor us, let Paige monitor our finances. Paige
Oh,
Financials.
I need to where I can lie down. Why did Folu not come with my bed?
Good night, my darling.
I will deal with Folu.
You can switch the lights on. Really? How brave of you, my love. The Kids Holiday Club by DSTV brings you
Check out my
bravery
jacket.
with Teen Titans Go and Pat the
Is
Dog
it a
on
pillow?
Boomerang.
I know I'm cold, but that's, I think I'm cold because I'm sleeping.
DSTV. Feel every moment.
Toyota Corolla with number plates BDG625BQ belonging to Stephen Akpan has come through for him many times. Like the day he gave a pretty girl a lift, insisted all the way. She later became his girlfriend. Or the day he locked himself out of the house and he had to pass the night in
I
his
think this
car.
nonsense about dating is it just tells where we are going to. I think there's so many lonely people out there that every advert now has to do with guy getting girl or girl getting guy. It's just if there's no man and woman involved, the thing is not sweet.
Process is hassle-free.
There's just so many lonely people out there.
And get paid in 45
No,
minutes.
the human race is just evolved around relationships.
And I think it's worse now. I think it's worse now. People are really lonely.
I'm telling you.
So will he see grandma and
Djokovic.
grandpa?
We're getting lonelier with social media.
Everyone will go to heaven someday.
Ah, right.
Daddy, who will take care of us when you go to
So when you
heaven?
find another human being that you can talk to or stuff, oh, it's a killer.
Talk to us today.
All right, guys, we're back. Mics are up.
On 08000367873.
Daddy, what is life insurance?
My name is Adesa Atomi, and you are listening to Smooth 98.1.
That's a good answer. Is your life insurance the great music and content? Yeah. Smooth 98.1. We're talking sports inside the locker room. Make sure, Lagos, you send us a message on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. Also on Twitter at Smooth981FM with the hashtag LockerRoom981. Novak Djokovic hailed his 4th Wimbledon success as very, very special after the former world number 1 beat a weary Kevin Anderson in Sunday's final. He says, I had to trust in myself, and I owe a great thanks to my team and everyone that's been supporting me in the last couple of years that haven't been that easy. I had surgery and was absent from the tour for 6 months and faced a severe injury for the first time. I had many moments of doubt, and I did not even know that I could come back to the level to compete. This was my first Grand Slam final in a couple of years, and there's no better place in the world to make a comeback. This is a sacred place for the world of tennis.
I was going to say now, this is one comeback that was full. So those people talking about Serena resting, they should have told Djokovic to go and rest. Nonsense.
But do they lose anything from resting?
But no, but they did rest. She's taking this her 4th tournament out. What's she resting for again?
Childbirth.
I don't understand what it is. But going back to Djokovic, it's because she's not a man.
Okay.
Going back to Djokovic, I didn't want to say it was sexist before, so now let me just say it's sexist and disrespectful. Going back to Djokovic, yes, he's right. He took he had the surgery, had to take the last 6 months of last year out completely. Tried to pull a comeback, and it's been a struggle through. And I like the way people keep saying, "Oh, Anderson was so tired after playing a long match against a 5-set against Federer and John Isner. He was tired." Djokovic played the day before the finals against Rafa Nadal.
Still,
it was not an easy one, and it was not the serve and volley that Fernando now we're faffing around with. It was people with it was cut coverage, chasing down every point, fighting every single point in every single game, and he finally came out top just the day before the final. So he too was also tired. So if you're looking for excuses for Anderson, that doesn't even fly with me. But ultimately, what it is, straight sets, and at every point in time, I think I saw it coming. Apart from the third set where Kevin Anderson tried to revive something, it was pretty much easy for him in the final. So congratulations to him. He's back right there in the mix. So now this makes for an interesting US Open. It's no longer, is it Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal that's switching world number one? It's now Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and the rest. That's what it is.
And the rest. We see the top players on the list now. Ibrahim Havest is asking this question: can a man be called Serena? Either Serena Williams wins final or not. I've added as my another top beneficiary in my wheel. Interesting guy. Interesting. Didier Deschamps. We're talking about football again. And the game of yesterday, Didier Deschamps praised France's mental strength after they won the World Cup with a 4-2 victory over Croatia on Sunday. He said, they're a little crazy. They've always been a little mad. He said with the broadest of smiles on his face. They are young and they're happy. It's a young team who are on top of the world. Some are champions at the age of 19. We did not play a huge team, but we showed mental quality and we scored 4 goals. Anyway, they deserve to win.
Yeah, I think ultimately it will come down to that. I think for most of the tournament, which is why I wasn't really impressed with France, they did just about enough to get through, just about to win in most of the games. Yeah, it was quite an aberration.
Wow.
For many reasons. I don't know what I think again they won it tactically because they came to a game where they have a few players that can pass the ball around or kick the ball around, and they gave Croatia. I don't see them dominate possession. But what France did was give them the possession. They want the ball, let them hold the ball. When we were behind the French team on the counter, that he made silly calls like so. When you come, I don't think he saw it up front.
But how about the second one? Because Tostini Roger on YouTube wants to know what you think about the penalty that they awarded Perisic for the handball, rather for Perisic's handball.
Some referees will give it as a penalty, some wouldn't. I wouldn't give it.
Well, VAR.
The reason is what VAR or not. The reason why the center referee had to go and review it is because it's in that room with the video assisted referees, there was a split decision.
Yes.
So some referees said, some people in the room said
it wasn't.
Some said it was. So it was now down to the center referee to go and make the decision.
Yeah.
And he had to look at it twice because he looked at it
and he came back again.
Then he came back and said, "Let me look at this thing again." So I see why he could give it because it did look like the hand was moving towards the ball.
And the hand touched it first.
But he did. But you could tell that was an error. The hand, the player was trying to bring his hand down to a natural position. Remember, he was in the air and coming down. Yeah. And then he reached for it with his leg. So I wouldn't give it. There's no way I would give it a penalty.
Why not?
There's no planet Tega Onojaife will give that a penalty. I think we've come to the point in football where we started taking so much out of the contact sport. That will ultimately come down to this. So I know why the referee gave it a penalty, and I know some that will give it a penalty. I also know some other penalty referees that
Mbappe in Baku and the rest of the African France team, and most especially the new G7 Griezmann. Serena Williams did well. She's a powerhouse of strength. Angelique Kerber is a power hitter. The both of them were just shouting all the way, using all their strength. Serena, my hero, has connected the wall. Croatia. They said they were left to rue soft goals and a controversial penalty call after losing the World Cup final 4-2 to France yesterday. Croatia's coach, Zlatko Dalic, said, "I never comment on refereeing, but let me say this in one sentence. In a World Cup final, You do not give such a penalty. But it is in no way diminishes France's win. It was maybe the best game that we've played in these championships. We controlled the match, but we conceded against such a strong side as France. You must not make mistakes. We're a bit sad, but we have to be proud as well for what we've done.
Yes, ultimately they did concede some soft goals. Their third and fourth goal, the one by Pogba, the one by Mbappe.
Yes.
I don't think they had any business conceding those goals. And then again, maybe that was just to show Dejan Lovren that you are really not the best defender in the world. So pack it and sit in the corner. But what it is that on the day that they needed many things to go for them, they had many things against them, and they also gave away a few things. I understand that after the penalty, you come back in the second half. It's something interesting you want to push and get a goal or two, and they could have. They did create chances that they could have scored from, but not closing Pogba down. I know it was a read by Modric who was looking away from the ball.
Side, because he was focused on the first side that
he was looking away from the ball. Yeah. Look at the ball will not roll into the back of the net without a player hitting it. There's no excuse for that. Again, for the Kylian Mbappe goal, he looked at that ball. He knew he couldn't drive into the 18-yard box, and the only other option was to take a shot from outside the 18. Who was closing him down? Nobody. So I think two soft goals to give away by the Croatians. At the end of the day, the French did a good job. I won't take anything from them. They did run it, and Griezmann had said it earlier. We don't care whether our football is pretty. At the end of the day, we just want to win because we don't want to happen to us in 2016 to happen to us again. Yeah. But it came down to key moments in that game that Croatia didn't step up and they had to pay for it dearly. But congratulations to them. I totally agree with the golden ball going to Luka Modric, because if you look at the French team, I can't say there was a standout player, and the reason why I can't say that is because for different games, different people showed up. There were games that it was only defenders like Umtiti and Varane that could come up with goals for them. There were games that Pogba needed to score, like the one against Australia where they got that same win. There were games that Griezmann needed to score the penalty. So yes, it was the penalty, but the games that he needed to score the penalty. So for me to say, oh, there's one standout player I'll pick from, no, I wouldn't. Which is why I'm happy with the fact that yes, the young player went to Kylian, and rightly so. He's 19. He scored at the World Cup final. He had a pretty decent tournament, so that went to him. But if you ask me to give a golden ball to any French player, I just simply couldn't have given it to one, because too many players stood up at too many different games to bring them to that win. And they played well. So Courtois, clean sheet. But the good news, Eden Hazard didn't get golden ball.
Oh boy!
Thank you, Lord.
Nathan Njoku on Twitter says, "Congratulations to France and Didier Deschamps for being the third member in a very exclusive club of men who won the World Cup as a player and a manager. Can Hollywood do a movie about the life and rise of N'Golo Kante?" Is a question we should ponder on. We'll be back with more stories inside of the locker room here at Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1.
Valentine.
Okay, so now we can take a lot more of their messages to really finish the major stories.
Okay.
So you understand now? There were four people here, and they were split down the middle about that decision. So the referee had to make it. The center referee had to go make the call. So when people say VAR gave it, if VAR did not give it, if they didn't call it from here, if they didn't give it from the room, VAR didn't give it. It's the center referee that took the decision. That's what it is. So he went and he interpreted what I.
With the advancement of technology and the ease of using mobile phones these days, to up your game, you've got to just hone your business every day, any day. But this work
I will try.
and get more from you. Get inspiration for how to monetize your business. No size of your business, by the way.
I'm just looking at the adverts.
What's
wrong doing there? It's just a movie. Okay, it's just 7 seconds. He has to break in between.
Who says that? So hustle your way to the registration website right now. It's g.com/Google for Nigeria. And then sign up. It's totally free. It's easy. And join the conversation.
I don't go follow the man.
Hashtag Google for Nigeria. Remember, it's on the 26th. 18 at the landmark. Go and sign up, guys. Go and sign up. g.com/Google for Nigeria.
Hello, people. This is Frank Donga, and you're
Don't call me.
financials.
Oh, there was a time I used to,
Car,
okay, that's
pay
when I
children's
had
school
my
fees,
car.
or go on
I'd
holiday. Page
carry my
financials will give you a
blanket
loan in
in
just
the
3
back seat of
hours.
the car. I'll just do
I need
another
to get
table.
the
Straight up.
Guys, alright.
Turn off the lighter.
Visit
And
their
nobody will
website,
know.
Nobody knows.
financials.com, or call
All right,
them
we have one more 30 seconds.
at
Like, where are you coming
But
from?
you men still
I'm
need to be
sleeping.
monitored.
Okay, well, you monitor us, let Page monitor our finances. Page Financials, taking you further. PageFinancials.com.
What is that dream of yours? A vacation, further education, a business perhaps. Get something here by
Really?
10 Nescafe 3-in-1 sachets and get an extra sachet free. Scratch the card you find within the pouch and you can be a winner.
Welcome back, and we're still talking sports inside the locker room. We got Tega Onojaife, Tega Supreme on Twitter. Good morning. For those of you joining us on YouTube, we see you. Thank you very much. Here's a long message from Haman. Haman says, "Morning, guys. I have a lot to say this morning. Clear truth. Russia was a success. It was a fantastic tournament. Great final that had everything from our goals, own goals, to a controversial penalty, to a mistake from the French keeper, to the Croatia president, by the way, was the highest of a highlight of the tournament. I felt every hug that she gave to every single person on that pitch. Well, you guys just well done." This one says, "Hi, Valentine. Guys, come from Henry. You do not mind Anderson. He did not know that coming back from 2 sets down to Federer was a fluke. Djokovic is not having any of that. Brilliant game. Fantastic comeback. Congrats, Novak." Another one here from Sam in Ikorodu. "I saw a serial winner in Conte and perpetual sore loser in Lovren. Did you notice that Loris Karius and Loris Hugel are brothers? If you know, you know." Congratulations to the African-dominated French team. As Shegun says, we're effective. Congratulations to our... No, we're not taking that word. It's not use the morning radio. That's the much we can take. Find Tega Onojaife on Twitter at Tega Supreme. Check out the latest information on sports, especially as they affect ladies and everyone in general, at LIS International. Follow them and get the details right after the show. It's 8:47 at the top of the hour, Lagos. We get to talk about the Ekiti election. The number to call them is 01448991. Good morning.
If it's election that they brought out results in the middle.